Recording. It's being recorded. There we go. Ladies, we're back again. It's Thursday. How did we get here?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
This week has just flown by like some insaneness.
Yeah, it has. It has. How has your week been so far, Robin? Tell me.
It's been good. I've hated the weather for every second that it's existed this week. It could not decide what it's doing.
Yeah.
But I have been good otherwise.
Good, good. And Mum, how was your outing this afternoon?
Very, very good. Went to the chiropractor who told me I will never be a runner.
Well,
And he said it's not worth it.
Was that your dream?
Well, he said if it's my dream, he'd be willing to help me if it was something I'm really passionate about and I really want to do.
Yeah.
But he said, I said, yeah, I mean, I've always run in the past and it helps me zone out. But yeah, he said, no, do other things because my body shape and the way my body reacts, we would just be constantly having to patch me up.
Yeah.
So tennis is the thing. Keep fit is the thing.
Swimming.
Swimming is the thing.
Oh, okay.
Those are my passions.
Can you skip and jog?
Yes, because at tennis lessons, you have to
skip
skip and jog across the court and
sideways.
hop. And yeah, so the chiropractor's given me some more things to do for tennis with resistance bands and stuff.
Oh, okay.
He's trying to explain to me how not to twist from the middle, but to twist from the thorax.
What's a thorax?
I don't know. But apparently Daniel tells me it's possible, so we'll see.
I thought a thorax was a thing like a bee has.
I think we all have them.
Is it your whole body?
It's the top bit rather than from the waist, I think. I don't know.
I'm not understanding that.
We might have to ask Sarah from Revolution tomorrow. She might be able to.
So it's from your upper back, so right where you are. So from here, so you're moving basically your chest area that way rather than from your waist where you're doing that.
Apparently, if you do it from the thorax, it does more stuff to your core to make it stronger.
Okay. Well,
who knows? We're on a journey, people.
A journey of self-destruction. No, the opposite of that.
Yeah, hopefully.
Oh dear. Well, ladies, today we are here to, well, my week has gone well. I have a whiteboard, everybody. Very exciting. Look at my new friend.
And you're no longer banned.
And my new chair.
How pretty.
I know, it's cute, isn't it? It's pink. I went with the pink vibe. I've got a pink mat over there. I've got a pink blanket, and I was like, okay, do you know what I need in my life? More pink.
You've never really been pink before. Pink's
no, I haven't.
Never been your vibe. That was your black vibe. You were purple and blue, and she was pink.
Yeah.
Your chair looks like a cat paw.
It sort of does, yeah. It's got the little what is it, like ridges in it, and then down is like another bit. So yeah, quite nice. It's very comfy. I've sat in it all day today, and my back's stopped hurting. So I was using a kitchen chair, and I thought, it's been.
Oh, I'll send you some exercises from Steve at Active Health on their Facebook page. He's done a whole load of them for people who sit at desks all the time.
Oh, okay, that's helpful.
He's the chiropractor, by the way.
Yes, figured. I figured that made sense.
I've got to do those too.
So you're just going to be exercising all the time?
That's what I said to him. So I'm going to be exercising 24 hours a day. And he said, as it should be.
Not in my universe, I'm afraid.
Meet gamer.
Yeah, need to be landscape for at least like half of that. Like, horizontal.
What you could say is that, I do 50 odd miles in Skyrim.
Yeah. I mean, that counts.
I do 50.
I don't think it counts.
I exercise my thumbs.
Fingers, yeah, WASD, but other than that, maybe not.
Oh, and in Robin's news, what has she got on her desk?
Biscuits.
No.
Oh, you got one?
How exciting is that?
How is it so far?
I really like it. I've rebound. These are 1 through 0, these top ones. WASD -= M tab shift alt
All right.
camera space.
Mhm.
So it's the perfect setup for MMOs.
Do you feel like
'cause
I couldn't get used to mine? I just couldn't do it.
I really like it.
Oh,
Like
good.
I was fishing with it. I was sitting doing world bossy stuff with it and running around. It does take a little bit to get used to for me, but I really like it. I like the way it feels, and I like the clacky. It clacks.
Click. Okay. She likes the clicks. Oh, there we go. Yeah.
I can clack. There we go.
Well, now we've caught up, ladies, and pulled Robin away from her fishing. Not real life fishing. Have you ever been real life fishing?
I have.
I've never.
No.
Robin, have you?
Could you imagine me real life fishing?
No.
Either of you real life fishing with maggots and bait and pulling fish lips out of hooks and stuff. No, no, no.
And it's cold.
Do you know what's always worried me is the kind of the horror stories of when you whip the thing back and it gets caught on you rather than in the water.
Yeah, let's not.
That's happened often enough to professionals for me to not want to do it ever.
Moving swiftly on.
Anyway, today we're talking about something entirely different. We're going to talk a little bit about niches and creating a niche as a small business. Now, this came about because I was doing a little bit of old blog rehashing, and I noticed that we were using the word niche a lot, and these blogs were 10, 15 years old at this point. And I remember that there was a certain time in digital marketing where niche was a huge buzzword. It was everywhere. Now, do you think that's sort of gone? Because in my mind, it doesn't really exist as something that people say a lot. And does it exist in the same way anymore?
I think it depends which world you're in.
Mm-hmm.
In the world of internet marketing, as opposed to digital marketing, and internet marketing is affiliate sales, affiliate websites, that kind of stuff. Niching is still massive because they work out what niche is going to be popular. They chuck up sites, chuck traffic at it, make money out of it. Not as easy as it was 10 to 15 years ago, but yes, niching still is big over there. In terms of niching for small businesses, I think there's always two camps in that. You know, there's the business coaches that will always tell you to niche down, niche down, niche down, niche down. And then there's me, who's been running a business now for 15 years, who would have lost their business several times over had I have niched down.
Yeah.
So I think you need a balance. I think you need to know who you are and what you do more than niching.
Right. And do you think you can prepare adequately for a situation? Like, say we'd niche down into something that we were doing specific websites for a very specific sector. Do you think that there are sectors that are more obviously likely to exist than others, that it's safe in a way, or no?
It's a very, very funny thing. Because there are obviously lots of sectors where niching down would have been a bad idea. But also, I think niching is a terrible idea for web designers and for people looking for somebody to do web design for them or to do a marketing strategy for them.
Yeah.
Because those people, if you get somebody who purely niches on, say, they only do women's accessories, they know nothing from outside of that world. So how do you bring innovation into your marketing? How do you bring innovation into your website flow and stuff? How do you do that if you're only ever dealing with that particular niche? I think it's quite dangerous from many perspectives. Yes, it's important as a let's face it, marketing and web design, web development is all about psychology.
Yeah.
You know, the placement of stuff on sites, the way you trigger people, all of that kind of thing. And people are people.
Yeah.
They get triggered by emotions, they get triggered by words, visuals, and so on. And yes, that does alter a little bit from to build trust in different verticals, but that's easily learned.
Yeah.
The hard part is the colors, the psychology, the understanding that you might want to innovate, but you also need to keep things
Mhm.
familiar to people so that they still take the actions. So I think in terms of for an agency to niche down, I think it can really stifle innovation and creativity.
Yeah.
Just my opinion.
So I feel like when we're talking about niching down from our perspective as an agency, if you're going as deep as women's accessories, that's too far. But if you're going as deep as, say, lifestyle wellness, there's a range there that you can.
WordPress, you could, you know, absolutely. And I wouldn't necessarily, I mean, health and wellness is massive, right?
It's big.
The biggest industry in the world. People spend.
Isn't tourism the biggest industry in the world?
I think actually health and wellness, if you include vitamins and all of that kind of stuff into it, I think you'll find, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that is the biggest growing industry in the world. So
could you technically put tourism in some cases under health and wellness?
You could a little bit, I guess.
Health retreats.
It's lifestyle.
I'm
yeah, there is a crossover there, absolutely. Yeah.
Just putting it out like that. It starts into like health and wellness retreats and kind of going to places that are good for you.
Absolutely.
There is a crossover there.
Yeah, I mean, something niching down to that size is absolutely fine, right? Because it covers so much, as Robin just said. You know, you can do yoga retreats, you can do surfboarding, you can do all sorts of stuff, yoga boarding, whatever they call it. There are so many different parts of health and wellness psychology. You know, it's a massive different.
But what we're talking about is like if a web agency said, oh, we're just doing websites. You can do a website for absolutely anybody. But going into that is bringing it down a little bit into the triangle. It's into that funnel. You're further down than, say, you know, full-on websites, all websites into I'm choosing a sector, into I'm choosing a portion of the sector.
Yeah.
Do you think, so if we take it away from the website section for a second, if you're a small business, and do you think there's a lot of small businesses now that are throwing the net too wide in terms of what they're offering, or do you think people will lean more towards a smaller section of the market in general?
We do have conversations with people all of the time who want to do one thing solely, and that's absolutely fine. I think the bigger issue is where we have people who want to do 2 or 3 things under the same umbrella.
Yeah.
And they're quite disparate, and they do have different audiences. And that does cause some tricky playing around with how are you going to present this part of the site. Are you going to create 3 sites with an umbrella? Yes, I mean, it's obviously really much easier to do a website for someone who's got one very particular service that they provide in a particular area to a particular audience. So I think you always have to know who you're looking at and who you're talking to. The issue comes when you've got multiple niches and you're trying to do it under one umbrella.
And Robin, in terms of that design, working with someone that does have all of those ideas for different businesses, how do you go about deciding what needs to be where when you've got so many markets involved or so many potential markets involved?
You have to have a tier list, I feel. You have to have a level of importance. So say you've got 3 services or 3 things that you want to do, 3 different niches. You have to, or the client that you're working with has to decide really what is the most important out of those 3. And we have to build the website to concentrate first and foremost on one of them, but still have the other 2 existing signposted well, but without bringing the attention away from the one they really want to concentrate on. Because the problem is that you're throwing too much at somebody at that point. If they come to you wanting to look for that one thing, they don't want to see, I've got to read 75,000 other pages about something I'm not even interested in. So you kind of have to work out what the scale of importance is, and whether that importance is, oh, it's a niche that makes me feel good in my job and that's why I want to do it, or whether it's going to earn me the most money it's something that the client really has to think about in terms of design, because say we're on a homepage, we have to really carefully think out exactly where we signpost to send that person if it's going to a completely different niche and a different demographic at that point.
Yeah, and it's interesting, isn't it, as well, because when you're thinking about that, is what is your feeder product? So say you're selling consultancy or coaching courses, and your big premium thing is one-on-one coaching, and people spend thousands of pounds with you for coaching, but they're not necessarily going to give that to you straight away, are they? So you have that hierarchy of the different size products, the funnel that you lead them through. So they might join a group one first of all, or they might join a free webinar, or they might, you know, and it's as you said, working out that importance for what's going to earn them the money, not necessarily today, but in the long run. So you have to think very carefully.
Sort of prioritizing it in that list.
Yeah.
And I agree with you guys. I think actually it's really helpful for us when we speak to clients who already have that in the back of their mind to go, actually, you know, I know this doesn't do a lot for me right now, but it has in the past led to this thing, which is the thing I ultimately want to work with. And it's difficult sometimes, because I know we've had a couple of conversations with people who said, oh, you know, I do these workout things as a marketing tool, and they lead me to doing talks and this kind of thing. So if you are leaning towards, you know, I want to do these talks, but this is where I'm getting all of that from, they then have to decide whether they want to push the website to that lower end of sort of the pricing funnel, or to that talking point, you know, the talking work jobs to those corporate businesses. And that's a tricky one in itself.
It is.
Well, they have to decide. They have to decide whether, because the idea of them getting those talks, if they decide to push that and build for that, they've got to find their new market and their new access to that market. If they're not going to push that lower, and they've got to really start from scratch in terms of working out their demographics.
Talking from two very different business. One's a speaker business and one's a fitness business, and they're two very different markets. And people coming to look for help for fitness from you aren't going to really care about you trying to sell them to talk for the event for £30,000 or whatever your price might be.
They'd be like, £30,000 for a workout? Are you sure? I'm confused.
So in that case, you know, sometimes we've done it various different ways, haven't we? You can have a landing page that's totally separate. So you've got your front page, and lots of media people who are looking to source speakers know that they're looking for press pages or speaker pages. So they'll look, or a standalone speaker website, a microsite.
Yeah. Okay, so having them separated but linked in a way.
Yeah, because that is a style of niching, right? You're niching down to be a speaker, but actually what gives you the prestige to be a speaker, it's your main business. That's what's given you the trust, the likability, if that's what you're playing on, your likability and your knowledge is shown through that main website, and the speaking bit comes from something very different.
I think that actually it's interesting. It's sort of like an allegory for your process as a business owner, right? Because you start with a big idea, you have an idea and you go, oh, this will work, and then you try things out, and eventually you come to a point where you're like, actually I can pivot this in this way, and you do end up coming down to that end point where or not an end point, but that point where you've gone, okay, well, I've now gone from where I was, you know, selling cupcakes to teaching people how to sell cupcakes. And there's all those little sections in between. So when you're a business like that, and say you had a really good website that was built for you right at the top of that funnel, and you were, you know, you'd made it through these and you'd had updates along the way, and then you got to the bottom part and you now want to teach how to create cupcakes. Is that a whole new website because you've already gone through all of those changes?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Because basically you've changed your business entirely.
Yeah, you've changed your business model. You're looking for an entirely different user journey, very different trust signals. you know, a whole host of different needs from a functionality perspective, let alone anything else. You know, you're looking for creating a group environment, in that case potentially a membership site. It's a very different kettle of fish.
Yeah, and it obviously can take all kinds of different lengths of time for that to happen. It might be something that you change into 2 years down the line, or
I'm trying to think of somebody who did that particularly obviously, and I think that was the wedding stationery woman, who I really loved on Etsy. And she transitioned overnight from having this lovely stationery business to teaching people how to sell stationery on Etsy or other platforms, including Amazon and so on. And she had to completely revamp her website. It was a new audience, actually. I think she still kept the old one as a separate business, but then her personality as that teacher was very different to the wedding stationery website.
And so I guess if you're a client or a potential client who's sort of looking to make that change, you need to think about your market rather than, because you might be in the same sector. I mean, cooking, baking cakes for someone, creating a product, and then teaching people how to create cakes is the same. You're in the same sector, but the market that you're reaching out to is totally different. So saying, you know, I've got a website that already does things with cakes doesn't mean that it's now going to work for you however long later with your new product.
Where that does work, I guess, is if you're a restaurant, and I think we've seen that in lockdown, right? If you're a restaurant and you've gone from serving people in-house to sending out boxes of food to people, and then they come and cook along with you. So you can't, but you're not changing your personality because you're still a restaurant business.
You've just moved the location.
Of who's doing the cooking. So it just takes a little bit of thought with either us or with your marketing team or whoever to just get that real clarity around who it is, what you do, and what you're presenting to somebody.
I have a really good kind of analogy based on Gemma's of talking about the two different types of cooking. They're still within the cooking realm, but they're entirely different things and require different layouts, different ways. It's not small business, but it's social media. Call back to last week, Pinterest versus Instagram. If you read them out of you don't know what those two are. You've come completely fresh and you don't know what either of them are on social media. You read down a list, it's an image-based social media website. But when you go into it,
two very different things.
Instagram is a social commentary with imagery as the forefront, and Pinterest is a storyboarding, a collectionary kind of place, and the communication aspect is pared back quite significantly. But technically, they are exactly the same thing on paper. They have got the same type of image, like they've run
a lot of the same functionality, right?
Yeah, exactly. But they're visually very differently run as a website, because Instagram, you've got that one singular feed that runs through and you scroll through, and they've got the text boxes. And Pinterest, it's that massive board of everything that you see
ideas
all at once, and it's very pinboard style, which is exactly what they're going for. But to begin with, they were obviously exactly the same thing.
Same idea.
And they've niched out to different target markets. Instagram are trying to get the people that want to write about their lives
on their phone and write about their lives and storify what's going on.
And Pinterest is about that ideation, that creative function, that kind of
it's all about arts and crafts and creativity.
So
on that note, today Instagram has decided they no longer want to be thought of as an image thing. They want to go to video as their main aspect, which I thought was
they want to be TikTok.
They want to be TikTok, which
not going to happen.
Not going to happen, I'm afraid. No.
And that's Facebook again. They are driving me absolutely insane. They want to take over the world and be everything to everyone. And just stop it, because TikTok does what it does. TikTok's amazing. I don't use TikTok on my phone, but I do watch TikToks via other means.
Do you?
I do. But I wouldn't go to Instagram for that.
No,
Instagram, I buy stuff from Instagram.
Do you?
I do.
Do you really? I don't think I've ever bought anything from Instagram.
I do.
Really?
I've bought 3 or 4 things from Instagram.
You
in the
bought
last 6 months.
a clothing box.
Yeah.
Where they've sent Lookaroo.
Oh, you transferred that to me because I did the same, but I didn't get it from Instagram. You told me about it. So I did that last year, didn't I?
I got that from there. I bought Orla and Me. That was via Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a few things that I've got via Instagram.
But it works that way because it's a lifestyle. You see it visually as a lifestyle, and then the adverts fit in without feeling so glaring. You go through them and you see them. Like, one that does it badly is Reddit.
How dare you?
No, but the advertisement on Reddit, on new Reddit at least, if you're going through it and you see an advert for VPN or some kind of tech thing, you're reading through it and you're like, I don't want that advert. It doesn't make any sense. You might not even be interested in that. Whereas with Instagram, if you're scrolling through pictures of clothing and fashion, social influencers, the adverts kind of slot into place a lot nicer. And of course they're aiming for that. They want you to look at it and be like, oh yeah, shiny, go. But it shows the differentiation, I think.
It's not. I'm going to tell you a story about how that type of advertising is not working for me currently. I was in the kitchen yesterday talking to Robin about something yesterday afternoon. We were talking about Evian.
Okay. Yep.
And she was like, I don't know why you don't just use a Brita filter. We were in the kitchen. And I don't want a Brita filter. I want Evian. I don't care if England no longer considers it a mineral water and needs to certify it. They need to get on with it, and I need my supply uninterrupted. I've drunk it since I was a child. I want it. Now what am I getting adverts for? Even though I've said I do not want one, everything today, this morning, when I switched it on, was Brita filters.
You can get them from the tap now.
I don't want one.
Okay, but I think there's a really big part of this story that's missing, and I'm going to call you out on it. The reason I said you just need a Brita filter is because, Gemma Louise, do you know this? Our mother has been cooking eggs in Evian.
No,
Daniel doesn't like
but there's a reason.
water.
We have this. We live in Berkshire, right?
Get it.
No, we're on Chalk. Okay,
we lived in Croydon.
Yes, but we have this little egg machine. That's this little dome, and it's got a pan which has got just like this heating element, and it steams the eggs, which is brilliant. But the problem is, it corrodes it. We've only had this machine for like a week, and it super corrodes it, the natural water, which is why we're using it only takes this much water for each one. We're using Evian in it. Yeah, that sounds so privileged, doesn't it?
But
yes, it does. I've never heard such nonsense in my life.
But do you see why I may have suggested get a Brita filter so that you get rid of the hard water to put with it?
Or just clean out the egg thing.
I am, but it's already broke. It's messed it up.
I had to call you out for that one because you were making me sound like I was insane for suggesting a Brita filter, even though you like Evian.
Anyway, I'm being bombarded with offers for Brita filters.
I mean, it's just subconsciously trying to tell you that that's probably the way to go. You could even get a label maker and just stick Evian on everything. You could pour it into a bottle and then refillable bottle.
Do you know what?
Put the Evian on it.
I'll tell you something. I had my Morrison's delivery arrived on Monday morning or whenever it was.
Yeah.
And they tried to deliver Highland Spring instead of Evian.
Well, don't tell me you turned that back.
Then we came to the door and I said, before you unpack, I do not want the mineral water. Can you take it back, please? Because it won't get drunk. Sorry.
I'm not even gonna.
I do drink tap water. I like tap water. But yeah. Oh dear.
You're no longer allowed. into this discussion. This month is meant to be the less use of plastics month, and you are already failing currently based on that.
No one sent me that memo.
It was in the newsletter. Did you not read the newsletter? Huh. Oh, wow. Okay.
I did read the newsletter because I now know that I can knock off early on a Friday afternoon.
Okay. The overlords of Avidmode just doing that.
Do you know what? I don't even think I'm subscribed to our newsletter, so I don't know. I'm gonna go do it now.
Do you know, you really ought to be, because I'm finding out a lot of important information that I think I should know.
How do I
I've never been so offended in my life.
How do I sign up for the newsletter? Is it on the blog?
It's in my email signature.
Yeah, it's in my email signature too.
Robin at Avidmode. I'm doing it now. Look.
Anyone else that's watching this, feel free to go and sign up to the newsletter, just like these two members of Avidmode are doing, to get the latest information on what we're doing, saving the world from plastic bottles.
Some of us are
currently. Glass. Look at this. Tap water. It doesn't come out that colour. Don't worry.
I refuse to buy Evian in glass bottles. It's massively expensive.
Did they not refill them or something?
No. If they did, I'd be right there. I could just move to Evian. That would be nice. No, I couldn't anymore because we're not in the European Union.
Damn. I think you can still move there.
Can I?
I think so.
They'd have me.
You speak French, don't you?
I do.
Well, you'd be fine then. You'd be able to make it. They'd let you in.
We
wouldn't be able to come and visit you.
Well, you're married to a Dutchman, so I'm sure you can get into Europe.
Oh yeah, no, I'd have to be Dutch then in that case. I still got to go in the queue for dirty British people. Whilst he's waiting, drinking his fucking drinks in the KFC. Well, ladies, I feel like that was short and sharp and quick, but the point basically being that niching is still a thing. It's just not quite as buzzy as it was before. And it's sort of a natural process of businesses at this point, I guess. And yes, when you are changing the target market of your business, you need to change your website as well.
I agree.
That's that. So we will see you in the next one. I don't know what we're talking about next week. I'm doing a full review, a quarterly review, thanks to Alana Light, because she does it quarterly. I've decided to follow in her footsteps and do the same thing. So we will.
So you're going to hold us all to account next week, are you?
Well, yeah. You have a list. I'll write it out on the board and send it to you.
Oh, you can do whiteboard Thursdays.
Oh,
you
yeah.
Turn into Rand Fishkin.
I need a moustache.
You do need a moustache because he's amazing. That's a hard act to follow.
Yeah, very hard. I don't have that ability. Sadly, I'm not American enough either. Sadly. Again, British. I'm in the dirty British queue. Also, we won the football yesterday.
We did.
Everyone.
Oh, what's the prediction for Sunday?
Oh, I think we're going to win. We're going to win, aren't we? I can feel it in my bones. I might even put a bet down on it. I've never bet on anything in my life.
That just means it's going to go wrong.
No, it won't. What do you ladies think? Are you excited?
I'm excited. I just don't know what's going to happen because I was really nervous about Denmark because, you know, they're strapping great Vikings, aren't they? I mean, they're defensively, they're good. They're great in midfield and they're also quite good at scoring. So, yeah, but Italy.
Didn't we beat Italy once already?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ah, pish. It's been done already.
Yeah, I'm just glad that Mr. Southgate is getting his moment of glory because I really hated the behaviour towards him after the incident with the missed penalty. He should never have got berated that way and it's horrible. So I'm really glad that he is having his moment in the sun. He's doing an amazing job.
Yes. And I guess by the time we filmed next Thursday's video and by the time this one comes out, we'll already know.
We'll be heading into the Olympics.
Yes. I've actually heard that people are trying to get a bank holiday for Monday. So
I voted yes.
Did you? Oh, well,
I don't think it's going to have any effect.
I'm going to ring my boss. See what she says about that. Does anyone have the number for her?
She tries not to hand it out these days. Like, it's
I may have it somewhere, maybe.
I think I do as well. But... All right, ladies, I will see you in the next one. Bye.